Hello everyone, this is Darlene. Welcome to my channel. Thanks for being here today. I will get right into the reading. I've got somebody coming through today, but before I do that, I want to thank everybody that showed up for my live. I told everyone when I got 1,000 subscribers I would go live, and I did last Sunday night, and I had so much fun. I think we were live about an hour or so, and I did some readings. I brought through a lady's grandmother and mother, and we did another reading for a lady about her father. So it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and maybe I think I'll do those again. I think we all had a good time, so we might add that to the schedule. Let me know what you think. If you'd like to do that, let me know in the comments. But thank you anyway. Thank you. So let's get back to the reading today. I am bringing through, I'm going to say young man. He was African American, but it's not a but. There's no but. I don't know why I said but. No. I was going to say but it's a sad story. They're all sad when you lose loved ones, though, aren't they? I guess that's why I stopped myself. This was a little bit more tragic, I guess, in that it was a murder. Let me just get that out. It was a murder. And he's showing me sitting in his car. He was in a gang, and they were, I think there were 4 of them, 3 at least, but 4 of these men in a gang, and they went in the car and they parked on this street in front of these kind of small, like, well, not row houses, but small homes anyway. Smallish, anyway, private residences. And what I'm seeing is he's sitting, like, parked on the curb on the side of the street. There's a car in front of him, and they were there to either watch somebody or wait for somebody. I'm not clear, but one of those. They were just sitting in the car waiting, or again, kind of watching. It almost feels to me more like they were watching, because he's like sitting in the front seat, and they keep kind of looking around this car at a house that's a couple of doors down. But there's more to that story. So all but one of the guys got out, who was sitting in the back seat. And I don't know what happened to them. I don't know where they went. I didn't get that part of the story. But, and again, they were all in the same gang, so they were friends, right? But the young man in the back seat pulls out his gun, and the one in the front seat was kind of leaning on the, I guess, an armrest or something. And he felt the gun touch the back of his head. He felt the gun touch the back of his head. Now, at first I thought, well, maybe he killed him in the car, but that's not, I don't think that's what happened. I feel like he made him get out. And they were like out on this, and this was like, I can't tell if it was, feels like dusk or late. It got dark anyway before this happened, but it seems like there's some kind of ambient lighting, maybe a street light, I don't know. But he makes this guy kneel on the sidewalk in front of him. And I don't know what all the conversation was about, but clearly this young man that I'm bringing through, who was murdered, felt like this guy was his friend. But in the end, obviously, he wasn't. And he shot him. Now, what I'm hearing him say is, because there clearly, 2 things. There was no one brought to justice for this. There was, or they might have had suspects, but as these things go, I don't think that's very successful very often. They might have suspected, like I said, who or what, but if what I'm getting is accurate, they were suspecting this was someone in a rival gang. That's what I think the theory was, that they were suspecting this was someone in a rival gang. And so he's coming through to say, no, it was my own gang, my own friend, and my own gang that did this. And he just feels a tremendous injustice, because that, I don't believe, was ever looked at. I just don't think that was ever looked at. Now he showed me this man who's crossed over. Had been in, two things, I don't want to forget that. He had been arrested. He's showing me himself in handcuffs with his hands behind him. He had been arrested at some point. I don't know if he did any time, or as they say, or he actually spent much time in prison. He might have just been arrested and they let him go. I'm just see him with his hands behind his back. This is the one that was killed. But what I heard when he was kneeling on the sidewalk, I heard, and I rarely get names in my readings like this, but I kept hearing Al. So I don't know, or A or Al. And I kept, anyway. So I don't know if that's the young man's name that was killed or the man that killed him. Now, here's what else he showed me. Because the police came and they interviewed and canvassed the neighborhood as they do and asked questions, and of course nobody saw anything, right? But he's telling me they did. He's saying somebody saw this happen, and he's referring back to this little row of houses. When I say little row, it's kind of a weird what I'm seeing. And by the way, if you don't know, besides the information they give me, I also can do remote viewing, which is a whole other subject. That's a video for another day. But he's showing me, it's kind of a, I don't know this, don't want to say urban or city, but there's a row of houses, older houses, and then there's a couple of story level, maybe little, like brick shops and things, like in an older city. And then there's some bigger buildings over here. So it's kind of feels like it's in the city, but not real high rises. But then these houses were still there. But somebody in one of these houses where this happened saw what happened. And I believe it was an older lady who lived there. And when the police interviewed her, of course, she was too scared to say a word. She wasn't about to put her life in danger. So she just told them she didn't see anything. But apparently there is a witness. She did see something and or heard something. Although she didn't know these young men, she couldn't identify. I don't think she could identify them, but but I don't know that, but he just wants you to know, whoever this message ends up getting to, that somebody did see it, and that it wasn't what you thought it, or what the police thought, that it wasn't his own, it wasn't the rival, as it were, gang, that it was somebody in his own gang. Ooh, all right, that's the meat of the message. Anything else? Oh goodness, okay. This tough young man, and all this horrible story, and you know what he said to me? Tell my mama I love her. Honest to goodness, that was the message. He goes from, this kind of to tell my mama I love her. Wow, okay, that got me. So I don't know if this could be for his mama. I don't know, but I just trust that Spirit will get these messages to whoever they're meant for, and I just come here and do my thing, and I let go of it. So who knows? I don't get a clear sense of who this message is for or who will receive it. I'm just delivering the mail today, y'all. Just delivering the mail. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, he is talking, he had a little brother, he's saying, or younger brother, that apparently he really tried to talk to the little brother and gave him a hard time, I think, about not following in his footsteps. In other words, don't go the gang route and not following in the brother's footsteps. Oh, God, this is just, oh. And I believe he also had a sister, younger sister, who did not do so well. I think she got involved with some not so good things either. I want to say she might have even, I'm not sure, she might have become a prostitute. I'm not certain about that. I don't want to say that, but somehow I don't think she went necessarily the gang route, but she didn't become the person that this young man was hoping she would be in some regard. I don't know if she dropped out of school. I'm not seeing a clear picture on that, but he's just telling me that he tried to save her too. That's the essence, is he tried to save both of his siblings, but he didn't do so good with her. But I think the younger brother, I think he got through to him. Okay, anything else? Yes, he's saying that his mama tried to talk him out of being involved with these people, because she was obviously very afraid that, this is a very typical, I think, I don't know anyone who lives like this, but a very typical TV show. It's what it sounds like, but I promise y'all, I didn't watch TV and see this. It's just sad. Like his mama could see the path that he was going down, and tried to talk him or convince him that it wasn't the best path. But what he's telling me is apparently there was not a father around, and he's telling me, but it's the only way I knew to take care of my family. That's what I was saying is the sad part. He's saying it's the only way I could take care of my family, keep them out of harm's way, protect them, in other words, because I presume this gang must have given them some kind of protection for their families. It's the only way I could protect them and provide for them. I think he was the primary provider in this family. He said he did what he thought he had to do. He said it was not about right and wrong. He doing what he had to do. That's what he's telling me. Anything else? Okay, this is interesting. Boy, I'm getting a lot on this one today. I don't know if he knew him or he'd heard about him. He went to see a priest, okay, at a church. I don't think he was necessarily a church-going person on a regular basis, for sure. But I think he went to see a priest sometime before he died. I mean, I don't think he had a premonition that he was going to die, but he did go and talk to one, and I think maybe he had a conscience, but again, he prioritized taking care of his family in this way that he felt he had to do over that, at least at this point in his life. I think maybe he had plans later to get out of this and somehow, put all that behind him, but he didn't live that long. Okay, he's just showing me that he went to him sitting in a church, like an empty church, but virtually talking to a priest. And I don't know why I didn't say preacher, because I grew up in we didn't have priests. I grew up in a Baptist background where we would have preachers, but he's showing me like a priest. I don't know what religion, or they wear uniforms. I don't know what that's called, a habit maybe. I know that's a nun thing. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Yeah, he's just telling me more about the story that this particular priest, apparently some of the gang members, he kind of knew them in that he sort of had an open door policy for them. This is a whole other story about his sister. Apparently, that's one of the things that she had gone to the church and had a bad experience, and that's kind of one of the pivot points that turned her away or made her bitter. That's what he's saying, made her bitter, and he feels like that. If she could have stayed in that route, she might have done better. I hope this is making sense. Let's see. Nope, that's it. Okay, he's pulling his energy back now. All right, thank you. Thank you guys for watching. If you stayed with me here, I'm so grateful. I would very much appreciate it if you would hit that like button and subscribe. I might be bringing through your loved one next. I never know. I just show up and Spirit brings through. They're in charge of that, in other words. They're in charge of that. But I am getting started here on YouTube, early days, so I would appreciate it if you would subscribe. And I'll look forward to seeing you all again very soon. Thank you, and everybody take care. Bye.